Hi. Cheers. Dramatic farting sounds. I hope not. How you doing, Tashipu? Hey, Quindor. How's things? So yeah, this is an unexpected stream. I wasn't supposed to be here today, but I am. And I'm sitting here doing some KiCAD stuff, so I thought I'd stream. How is everyone doing? It's a bit late, so I reckon most people are asleep. You guys should be asleep, for sure. Hey, Christian. Yeah, surprised you're awake at this time. You've been sleeping through all my streams recently. Shock horror. Nah, it's fine. Yeah, I was just tinkering away, and I thought, I should just stream this, and I can talk about what I'm doing. Yeah, it's a bit chilly in here today, actually. I just took my jacket off and now I'm regretting it. I might have to go put my jacket back on again. And my coffee's only lukewarm. So I was at Electronex yesterday, which is an electronics expo show here, which is it's shrinking every year, which is a bit frustrating. Aaron, hello. Very unexpected, yes. Well, BitLooney's not streaming today. And I double-checked, triple-checked. I don't know what's happening with him. Hey, Richard. So I thought, okay, I would do it instead. Hello, Easton. So I was at the show yesterday, and there's actually two shows on. There's the electronic show, which is small, and then oh, wicked. Well, welcome. It's not normally on a Thursday, and it's not normally this late a start, and this is just an unexpected impromptu one. So there's the electronic show, and then there's this massive manufacturing show next door. They're not even joined, which is stupid. Anyway, they're both manufacturing. And in the main show is, oh my god, all the goodies, like CNCs and lathe. Like as soon as you walk in, there's this lathe that's longer than my whole upstairs section. It is just this massive thing. Like the bit where you put the collet in or whatever that holds the whatever is like this big. Like it's, oh my god, it's just huge. Anyway, massive cutting machines and plasma and like metal 3D printing machines and stuff. It was pretty insane. But the electronic side of it was just a bit lackluster because it's a shrinking. I think it's a shrinking industry. So there definitely wasn't enough to do for 2 days. So I decided not to go in today, and I'd come in instead and finish off some PCB design work that I've been umming and ahhing over so I can get them into production. So I thought I would stream what stuff I'm doing. Designing a new lab, and would love to hear and see your setup and little hacks, tips and tricks you found over the... Okay, well, I've got videos on the channel of my black production area downstairs and stuff, so you can see that there. In terms of tricks and tips and stuff, I wouldn't even know how to compile them all. I've probably forgotten 90% of all the things that I've learned. I mean, in terms of a lab, there's nothing special about my lab. It's actually probably the most least electronics lab type environment that you'd see. Yeah, I kind of do things my way. Yeah, normally you've got, people got test equipment up above them and shelves and everything. Like John Ox is like a great tip number one, don't buy Charmer. Right. Or a neodymium. No. Yeah, like, you know, check out John Ox's channel, Superhouse. Like, he's got some really good views of his lab area and stuff. I'm probably not I'm very unconventional the way I work. Yeah. So anyway, okay, where do I start? So I haven't put my bling boards into production yet, my PCBs. My way is the best way. Is it? What's your way is the best way? I don't know. Like, I can't tell. Not even seen your lab. Like, I've obviously, I've seen your, like, desk and all your lights behind you and whatever else, but I don't know if you've ever actually shown your, like, the other way around with all your lab stuff. Have you? I don't know. What's your process related to electronics and PCBs? Coin and farming out assembly. I do everything in-house, from prototyping to full production. So, and PCBs I only do. Just so you stream notification on Twitter. Sure you want it to be unlisted here. It's not unlisted. Oh my god, it's unlisted. It's not. Why is it unlisted? What have they public done? No wonder no one's on. Okay, it's public now. I wonder if people will get notified now. Hey, Paul's projects. That's bizarre. I wondered why there was like no viewers, or very few. I wonder if there'll be a notification now. Probably not. Now it's probably going to be. It's probably too late because I've already gone live. Oh my god, YouTube! You are a stupid platform. Oh, I did. Okay, fantastic. It's a face on here, my friend. All so clear. Okay, Deshipu, what are you drinking? Hey, Life and Cycling. Deshipu's drunk. What? Hey, Johnny. Okay, now people are coming in. Okay. Wait, distracted. What were we talking about? Okay, so yeah, I do my own manufacturing, so I don't know. I mean, PCBs I'll never do in-house. Like, they're just that, like, I can't. I mean, this is not the level, not the, what I need for my PCBs. I can't make them in-house. Custom stack ups and stuff. So they'll always be outsourced, but yeah, I mean, I don't recommend that everyone does their own manufacturing, but actually I do recommend everyone does their own manufacturing, but anyway, whatever. Right, let's see how many times I can get distracted. So I haven't put my bling boards into production. I've got 3 bling boards, remember? Some of you might remember. I've got just a bling board that is just got nothing on the back except for a place for headers. Hey, Mike. And then I've got a bling board that, this one with the tiny bling, which has got headers on the back for a tiny Big O, tiny S3, whatever, some broken out pins, which includes a STEMMA QT connector, the LDO for powering the power on and off. Hey, Michael. And the buttons on the side, and then I've got my full bling, which has got all the hardware on the back, which has also got the buttons on the side. And so my hold up has been, there's a couple of changes I want to make to the main one. I'm gonna get rid of the Wago connector, and I'm gonna put something else. I found some interesting small, I'll show you in a moment, some surface mount. So it's got to be surface mount. Some surface mount push plug-in like screw terminal type connectors. So I might change to one of those, and I'm going to take the coin cell connector off. I really don't think it's worthwhile having a battery backup set up for this. Anyway, and the other, so the main thing though that I've been umming and ahhing about is these buttons, Wago style. Christian will oversleep tomorrow. Every day he oversleeps, every Wednesday. I ordered a Whopper and a few other goodies yesterday. Oh, did you? I saw that come in. I didn't know that was you. Okay, no worries. It's going out today. Hey, Quixotic Geek. Oh, I don't have... Wait, where's my audio? I had my audio off. And why is that? Oh my god, it's Bamboo Labs. Their software just pops up and takes over the whole computer. whenever there's a message. Hey, Technibulus. Okay, I'm totally distracted. So these buttons, they're little and they work. I think they're just too small for people. I don't think they're a great button to put on here. The throw on them, the actual actuator, the button bit is not very long, and I can't get them any closer to the edge of the PCB. Let me just switch over here and I'll show you maybe if I can pick which. Ooh, dirty. Is that upside down? No. So you can see the buttons here. I need a pointing device. Here we go. And they're just really small. They're as close to the edge of the board as I can get. And when you turn them over, they do stick over a little bit. But I just don't think they click. Like I'm clicking it now. I just don't think it's overly intuitive. I'm not a huge fan, and I haven't really, up until now, found a better button that didn't make it too big. Well, I actually did now. What I've done, so I mentioned on my stream the other day, I was doing a respin, looking at a potential respin. Is that in focus? Let's try to get that in focus if I can. Get it better in focus. So this is a potential respin of my Reflow Master Pro. It is upside down because it's supposed to be flipped this way with a screen on this side. And so I won't go into all of this right now, but one of the things I've done is gone to a surface mount button here. So these buttons here are surface mount, but they're much smaller than my regular through hole buttons. Right, these are massive. I mean, I can't stick these on my bling, and of course, I can't do through hole. Right, so I need surface mount, and these are really small. And I think that these are, although they're quite large comparatively to the bling board and this button here, I think they're a much better button, and they're going to stick out further. And so if someone wants to put one of these in a case or something, they can actually get the buttons out to the side. Hey, Graham. Are you thinking of the new OMT SMT buttons? Right, so yeah, I'm thinking of putting these buttons on bling, so they're bigger and better, and they've got a much, I don't know if you can hear that, a much nicer throw and click. And then, although there is a slot on them, there's a little slot that have to go here, but I've already got slots here for the USB. Like, I don't really have a choice. I'm not going a surface mount USB, they get ripped off. That's why there's this gap on the sides anyway of the bling. So I do have space to put the slots, although I'm going to have to move my fiducials. And then I was thinking of doing a one of these. So these are 2.45 millimeter press fit, like push fit screw terminal with a release option. I was thinking of doing maybe a horizontal one of those 2-pin to go here instead of the Wago. The problem with the Wago works really well, except you need an insertion tool for them. Where did I put my insertion tools? Hang on. So I bought some just to have a play with. I wanted to see if I could 3D print them, but you can't. Let me see if I can find them. Hang on. No, not in there. Not there. Where would I have put them temporarily to lose them? Somewhere. Okay, anyway, there's a little insertion tool that you can get to release, to open these up. And I was hoping, I could 3D print something, but I can't. Like, it'll just break. It'll snap off inside there. And I can supply an insertion tool with every board. Like, they're only like $1.20 for the official ones. But it just seems silly. So if I can get a small horizontal press fit one to go here, I might do that instead. Anyway, so I'm currently rainbow. So I'm currently redoing, putting these buttons on. I started, as you can see, it's not quite. I'm still working on it. So I thought I'd have a play around while I'm doing this, and yeah, can chat and whatever, and drink coffee while I'm working. And what did I miss? Catch you later, Christopher. Have a good sleep. Not a lot of mechanical. No, there is. There's the bigger buttons. Yeah, there is. There's a slot. There's a lot of mechanical support actually. You've got 2 pads at the back, and then you've got a slot, a soldered slot over there. So you've got three points holding it on. It's pretty stable. Can those RGB LEDs produce proper pink? I don't know. I mean, we could try later. Hey, Wagon Loads. Hello, Peter. I wish there was less customers with extreme total destructive energy. What? Slots. Wait, what did I miss? Which board is which one, Quixotic Geek? The green one is obviously my possible. So this is my Reflow Master Pro. It's just a prototype board, and guess what I did? Because it's classic. This is such a rookie mistake. So where's a Reflow Master Pro? So I've got the wrong lens on my camera still. I haven't switched the lens, right? So this is my Reflow Master Pro. And it's designed to go this way, where the buttons are on the side, power comes on this side, right? And so when I laid this out, because I want to do a single-sided board, no through hole, right? When I laid it all out, obviously the parts for this board are on the top, right? Because the screen sits on the front. But on this one, the top becomes the back. And my stupid pick-and-place machine, my current stupid pick-and-place machine, I can't just grab this, like flip it, do the reverse, and say this is the front, and output the data. The pick and place machine just cracks the shits, and it can't do the back properly. Like, just for some reason, their software it's insane. And if you try to import the back, you can't obviously pick and place upside down, right? So when you import the data for the back for the front, it just can't get anything right. It's a disaster. So anyway, this was all designed on the front, and then of course I thought to myself, hang on, if I do that and then I flip it over for the screen, right, these buttons are all reversed, and this is blah blah blah, and everything would be backwards. So that's button 1, but then this will become button 1 and everything else. So what I ended up doing, I rotated a whole bunch of stuff, so you can see here that looks like it's upside down. That's the right way, and that's designed to flip like this. So now the screen is here, and then the buttons are correct. But when I did all that, I forgot to flip the connector. So pin 1 is supposed to be here on the connector, because I had to flip everything, but I left pin 1 down here. So these are all reversed. So of course the screen doesn't work. Oh, what a rookie mistake. So yeah. So this board boots and works. This is the SD card chip that I'm using. So it's a 128 megabyte SD card here, instead of doing an external SD card slot. So these are identical. These boards are identical in every way except single-sided, all surface mount, and trying to move away from all this through-hole soldering, right, for all the connectors and stuff. The only thing this board doesn't have is the I'm taking the DC barrel jack off. I don't think anyone uses it. Hey, Mr. England. So anyway, this was a bit disappointing because the screen doesn't work. So though it boots up and it beeps, and I can see that the SD card is working, and I can hear the buttons working, like beep, beep, blah, blah, blah. I can't do anything with it because there's no screen. So I get some serial output from it, but yeah. So I need to I've already fixed it, but oh my god, I'm so annoyed. Anyway, only 5, like the minimum number. Like, it was just for prototyping. Like, it's the first time I'm using this chip, and I wasn't even sure if these connectors were any good, and they actually are. They're really good, except I have a problem, unfortunately. I'll show you the problem. Bear with me, and I just need to get something from downstairs. coming. So I recently just took delivery of a new batch of thermocouples, right? And I get these thermocouples made for me. I mean, there's nothing overly particular about them. They're just a K-type, except the thermocouples, they the colours on these are the wrong order. Like they've got white and blue, and they're not correct in terms of what I need. They're white and blue there, and then they're red and blue here, but red is actually white and blue is red. So I get them to put ferrules on, and look what they did on this whole new batch. They put them on and then they flattened them all. I don't know why they crimped them all. They crimped them all flat. So I've been shipping these for a while from this batch. And these are fine when they go into a screw terminal, but they don't fit in these anymore, even though these are the correct size for the ferrules that are supposed to be on here. And so now, none of these ferrules will fit into these connectors. Can't get them in because they've flattened them. And I'm so frustrated. And I contacted them. I said, why'd you flatten them? And they said, for extra strength. And I said, well, they don't fit in my connectors now. And they went, oh, bad luck. So I've got this whole batch of them. So what I've ordered like thousands of ferrules. I'm gonna have to cut them all and remake them all, which is just so annoying. So they'll fit in these things, but they do fit when they're crimped correctly, but not when they. So that's really annoying. But other than that, these connectors actually work really well. I'm still not sure I'm going to do this. But anyway, we're off on a tangent. I'm missing all the chat. The through-hole solder slot is hopefully enough to keep it in there. Yeah, it's honestly, I mean, what do you think people are doing with these buttons? They're not trying to push the button out the door. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't. We'll see. We'll see if they do, if they don't. There's a bit of strength on them. I think they're going to be okay. I'm just reading back, sorry if I missed anything. Nothing but issues with those buttons cracking at the solder joints. Which buttons? Hey, frame rate 24. So I missed a bit. The conclusion is that okay, I'm confused. So we're talking about which buttons we're talking about. I was still reading. Well, the rumored new pick and will allow pick and plate upside. I don't think any pick and place allows for pick and placing upside down. So I'm still reading. Correct. The near end says it can do that, but it can't. It stuffs up all the data every time. And so in the past, I've had to actually go and manually do it, like myself, with some Python scripting. I don't know why. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I hope people don't think I'm racist from this, but like, maths in China is different from maths in the rest of the world. Like, it is. Like, it's just... From my experience with using machines that come from China, they use a different maths than us, and their maths just doesn't work. Like, anyway. Did you desolder recover from failed prototypes? Yeah, I can't fix these prototypes, unfortunately. I can't. There's no... and I ended up having to cut the traces, you can see here, because they were messing with the SD card, which is sharing the same SPI bus. And so the SD card wouldn't initialize because I was... like, I've got, for the backlight up here, this switch here was actually connected to the SPI bus because it's back to front, and it was non-recoverable. I'm not going to build a new board and try to get the screen on to test it. It's a 2-layer board. Actually, no, it's a 4-layer board, but it's a cheap board, whatever. I've got some other stuff I need to order, so I'll just order another set of 5. The stencil doesn't change, nothing changes. It's just the flip on that. For an extra like $12, I'll just get myself another 5 boards. So I'm still reading back. Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way, Wagon Loads, because when you flip it in KiCAD, it doesn't keep all the coordinates right. Like if you have an anchor over on the bottom left-hand corner and you flip, the anchor goes on the right-hand side. So then you need to reposition the anchor and you get exactly perfectly right for the axis to make sure that everything is... And then all the fiducials are flipped the wrong way around and stuff. And it's just... Yeah, it's a real pain. It's a real pain. Flattening makes it easier to go into a screw terminal, but I never asked them to flatten them. And this is like the 4th batch of TCs I got from them, but the first time they flattened them. So it was an unexpected change from them, and it means it didn't work. It wouldn't plug into the connector, and I can't go a bigger connector. So here's an example of, like, here's one that is not... I can't get this out now. I mean, I can put a thing in it. Like that's in, right? This is a non-flattened one. I just crimped this one yesterday. I cut the ends off, right? And I just stuck a ferrule on. I crimped it with my normal crimper. And hang on, where's my tweezers? Maybe I can get it out. Like, these are really good connectors. I can't believe how tight they are. I'm gonna stab myself trying to get this out. Maybe. Right, there we go. So this is a normally crimped one. Oops. So that's just a normal crimped connector. And then of course there's these, they crimp it and then they flatten it. Oh, I don't even know if they crimp it properly or if they just flatten them. It looks like it's been crimped. It's got a funny thing here. And then they flatten them in like a press or something. But it makes the width of it too wide. But like this goes in fine, right? I don't know which one's supposed to go in, but I'll go like that and I just push it in. There you go. Like, that goes in great, and that's in. Like, oh my god, that will not come out. I'm actually quite impressed how strong these are. Anyway, can you share the connector type there? These ones here, yeah, they're a Phoenix connector actually, and I actually met up with Phoenix yesterday at the show. I wanted to know if they had a 3.5 or 3.8 pitch, one of these, and they've got 3.5 and 3.8 and 5mm pitch in surface mount, but they're way bulkier than this. Like, even the 4-pin one, it takes up like almost twice as much space, which I don't have. Wait, a modified KiCAD from needs to generate a centroid data for the hanwha. It moves the anchor point as needed for that. It's easier than having to make sure. Right. I'm not bothering doing anything with this machine, right? I'll worry about it on the next machine. You can fit 4 rules next to each other, although they look a bit wide. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I think I can fit them all in, but I think it's going to, yeah, potentially be a bit weird. So the new ferrules I bought, though, are smaller. I actually went to a gauge lower than this. These are 0.75mm diameter. I've gone to a 0.5, which means this insulation will be a bit smaller as well. Maybe they'll work better. And look, I might just have to go for a wider connector. I've got the space to go wider. I can't get my tweezer out. I've got the space to go wider, I guess, but it's also a much bulkier one this way. Again, I don't even know if I'm doing this board. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Hey, Mad Techie. Yeah, I've got this square crimper, and I thought I ordered a hex crimper, but I can't find it. But this is not a crimper thing. They've crimped it, and then they've flattened it. They put that in a vise or something to flatten it. That's not the crimper that did that. Be an ideal connector for the thermocouple interface for the Chinese batch over upgrade I'll make from time to time. They're really good connect, and they're actually they're pretty reasonably priced. Let me just get a link. Hang on. Let's see if I can find. Where's my my web browsers? So I got them from DigiKey, and really, why is it not on my history? You go to my orders. Hey, Alan. I really like the connectors, I gotta say. They're the least bulky that I found. They've got horizontal and vertical. Oh, come on, log in. But I don't think Phoenix make the next size up in this format. Okay, copy link. So here's a link. And they come on tape and they're pick and placeable. So I just posted a link in there. That's what they look like. What's going on with DigiKey's website? Weird. No problem. And they've got obviously, 2-pin, whatever. So just to reiterate, this is not what I was supposed to be doing on this stream, but just to reiterate, this board here is purely a concept right now. It's a concept to see if I can make an entire ReflowMaster Pro surface mount, with the aim of dramatically reducing what's involved in making them in terms of labor time. So I can do one of two things, or maybe both, but probably not both. I could either reduce the cost of them to make them more accessible for people, or I can leave the cost the same, but that gives me margin to allow my resellers to stock them. So you'll be able to buy them overseas, which will still be then cheaper because you won't have to pay shipping from Australia out and stuff like that, right? Maybe the Amazon guys will stock them, and maybe Pomeroni might stock them. I don't know if Adafruit would stock them. But you know what I mean? So right now, making this version of them does not leave me enough to have resellers resell them and give them margin they need, right? There's no point. A reseller's not going to sell them and not make any money off them. So this whole thing is to see if I can turn all of these bits and all the manual work into a single board, single-sided, all surface mount. That was my challenge, but that doesn't mean I'm going to actually do it. I don't know yet. So, damaging thermocouple or board, trying to get them out. Well, no, you can get them out. You just need. These tweezers are definitely not the right tweezers. They're very thick tipped. But if I grab these ones. Right, these are a thin one. They actually get in quite easy, and I just pulled I pulled it from the cable. Don't pull a ferrule from the cable. But if I get that in, it does come out. But the new ferrules I've got coming, as I said, are smaller. They should fit better. Anyway, okay. Once again, it's just a concept right now. Hey Dale. Yeah, but I pulled it from the cable. Well, you don't pull a cable out of a ferrule. That's just silly, right? That was my bad. That's going to work with anything. If I go and, just grab a normal DuPont cable, which I don't have lying around because I put them all away for a change, right? And if I pull the cable, it's going to break. No worries, Peter. Hey, Larry. Okay, so back to here. No, I don't trust them not to pull by the cable, but it's no different from if it's in a screw terminal. Anyway, as I said, this is just a prototype. You can get screw terminals that are surface mount, but they're twice the size, and I don't have room on the board to do that. Well, I'd have to make the board much bigger. So, and they're also 6 times the price. I don't know why the pricing's not coming up, but these connectors here are like $1.70 US each, these connectors, right? which is a lot compared to the screw terminals that I'm using. Right, these are cents each, and these are like $1.70 US each. But the screw type ones are like $7 each, and I need a lot of them. So that would totally negate any cost savings on the board. Make a YouTube short showing what happens. Okay, but still $1.20 compared to cents, and I need 4 per board. So that's like, you know, I'm trying to make the boards cheaper, and I'm increasing the BOM cost dramatically to do so, right? Anyway, let's get back to these buttons and this board, what I was starting out doing. So I need to change a few things. This switch number is number 6. I just need to flip some of these. Does everyone know you can push X and Y to flip? That wasn't obvious. I just pushed X on that to change which terminals were which. But if I was like to go here, see this is 1, 2, 3, 4. If I click on this and hit Y, see it flips it upside down, and if I hit X, it'll flip it that way, which is a bit silly. But that allows me, so I just did that change. If I now update, actually I did I update it before? Probably didn't. Right, but what I've done now is the 3 volts was down below and IO21 was above. Now it's flipped. So, I still have to fix these. I have to move some logos around. Yeah, X and Y flips are fun. I use them all the time. I mean, that's how I fix the pin out on... Actually, no, I have to flip the connector. Anyway. Okay. Really? Okay. I think these are going to be a better button for here. Right. Why is it letting me pick that through there? I'll turn that off. Okay. And here I've got to flip those. No, I can probably just move this. Ground field takes a Google every time. What? Ground field takes a Google? What does that even mean? I gotta say that's really frustrating me with KiCAD, with the when you try to grab the end of a trace to move it with D, and there's a little tiny bit of the trace at the end that you don't see, and so you don't actually grab the very end, you grab just... Anyway, that's annoying. I just thought I'd share that. That's really ugly, but I might just fix that up later. I just want to get them all in for now. So I really want to order these boards, production boards, to get these ready. I'm not going to build them on my Neoden. They're going to have to wait. Google One... What? F flips in the 3D view. Does it? Okay. How does the through hole for the tab get soldered? It's got paste on it. As you can see here. So there's paste over the hole. So it'll just, yeah, feel the same way my USB works. So that's an annoying place for the logo now. I have to move this somewhere else. I guess this is now P2. And what's the date today? the 11th of the 5th. I mean, I'll neaten up the silk screen later, I guess. I might just move that out here. Really? Didn't want that to go through the logo. You can paste through. Yeah, why not? I mean, obviously, if the slot's too wide, the paste will fall through it. You got to be careful. So, like on my USB connectors, I'll show you when I do my other board. I'll show you how I do my USB connectors. But yeah, you absolutely can. Is there? Do I not have 3 volts? I do. Oh, there must be something. Right. See, I don't like how KiCAD hides stuff like that. Somehow. I never remember having weird things like that happen in Eagle, but maybe I did. Maybe I just can't remember. Okay, I need to swap this one. This is switch 3. So just hit X on that. Save it. Update again, update PCB, and flip those around. Do you see the link about the power plane? Yeah, I did. But yeah, I'm very happy with the way my power planes work. Power and ground anyway. Yep. I've seen lots of videos about stuff like that. Watched lots of videos about stuff like that. Go over there. Really? Really not. Ground planes and power planes. Alan posted a link to a video the other week. It's about discussion about, you know, about stack up. Okay, so I'm gonna have to clean a lot of this up. Should really. There's a lot of opinions out there about good stack ups and, you know, what used to be. Like I use a convention that's quite kind of old thinking now, you know, but you know, all my boards are yeah, I zoom in and out a lot actually. I find sometimes selecting things in KiCAD can be quite tedious if you zoomed out too far. Could be a Mac thing, could be my mouse, I don't know. Okay, I'll fix up all of the silk and everything later. I just want to make sure that this actually passes DRC, that I've got everything the right way around. I'm going to be much more comfortable with the... Ooh, what? Clearance violations. Oh, yeah, that's right. I said that my fiducials are going to be a problem. I'm going to have to move my fiducials. Oh, that's annoying because I've already damn it, 2.6. I've already set up these things. Anyway, I'm not going to build them on my neodymium. 2.6. It's going to be on both sides. There was it 8? I don't know, but they're probably duplicates. There's probably 2 each for these. 96.1. What? And we're going to have a via in the way now. 96.1. Almost have a via in the way. Okay, try again. Oh, there was 5. I don't know, maybe there's one I missed. Nope, there we go. It was just those. So the fiducials I had on this side of the board were too close to the slots. There's a keep out area here, and they were touching the plating on the slot. Hello, Spice Muffins. Trick I found is in Windows at least. I use Windows Magnifier instead of zooming in to pick things. Have bound to a mouse button. Oh, interesting. I go to DRC jail. DRC jail. Okay, so that's that one. I think these buttons are going to be much better. Much easier for people to click. I've got little fingers. I've got little hands, right? I know not everyone does, and the current buttons are borderline for me. Like especially the on the USB side of the board. So on the USB side of the board here, the buttons are quite close to the USB connector, and so I think people are going to have problems pushing them. They're still going to be close. If anything, they might be a bit closer now with the new buttons, but they're a much easier button to push. You know, you can even grab these on the edge of the button and push it. These ones you've got to be right in the center to push it in, and there's only a little throw on it. So okay, you've been using a nipple since I'm not going there. Okay, so that's that one. Oh no, I hate how OBS does that. Anyway, save. Okay, so that's Bling P2. So now I've got to do the same thing for my Bling. So open project. I know what the nipple is. I know. It's pretty funny. Okay, Bling are the new buttons from a reputable manufacturer. Define reputable manufacturer. They're from the same company that I buy my through-hole buttons from. They're an Asian company, but they're. I buy a lot of these. Oh, I buy a lot of these buttons, right? and whatever. So yes, they're a company I've bought a lot of stuff from before. But it's, you really got to define what reputable means. Seen cheaper ones go bad. I've seen good ones go bad. Cripple and frustration. Can we buy the same buttons easily in small numbers? I assume you can buy them in small numbers. I mean, I bought them on a reel. Hang on, Bling P1. Okay, I'm just doing that, and I'm saving it as a new version. It's P2. Okay. So here is just to show you the what I do on my USB connector. I don't do a full pad, like the whole slot for paste. You can see the slot there, because the slots for the USB connector are much bigger and the paste falls through. So you paste up your board and it's kind of sitting on there, and then as the board's going through the pick and place machine, there's some vibration, there's some stuff, and the board, jitters a bit when it's being placed and stuff. And what happens is the paste can slump and fall through. And sometimes there's not enough paste left when that happens. But the other problem is you just get paste everywhere, right? It just falls out of the board. It comes onto the bottom of the board. It smears on the bottom when it reflows, whatever. It's not nice. So I, moons ago, came up with the idea of having just circles that sit on the edges of them. And I get very little paste that falls through. And obviously the paste sits on the side, but as it reflows, it sucks in, right? The surface tension pulls the paste into the hole, but the peg's already in there, so it all reflows together, and I get quite nice. You can see here. No, you can't, because I haven't switched cameras. You might be able to see here. I mean, that's how this one was done, and I wonder if I can get closer and focus it. Maybe not. Let's try that. Focus. Might be too close for this lens. Or it might be focusing on that. Hang on. No, it won't focus. Bummer. But anyway, you can see they're filled, and they work quite nice, and there's nothing sticking out the other side. And sometimes they fully fill, and sometimes they don't fully fill, but there's always mechanically enough to hold every peg. Went to stencil up a board last week to find my solder paste had set solid. Uh-oh. Just order some new paste instead of trying to revive it. If it actually went solid, forget it. If it's too thick, you can revive it. If it's hard, I wouldn't bother. That's just me. Whatever. Okay, so I need to put, so these buttons might be a bit harder to fit in. Okay, where did I put that? Here. I'm just stealing the buttons from my Reflow Master board, because why not? Okay, so let's start over here. That's interesting. Why is that not snapping? So I'm going to have a problem with some of the components on here. I'm going to have to move some things around to fit these in. 305. So I'll get them exactly the same height. I first needed a PCB and needed to match hole spacing, pin connector positions. I found out if I make a line length equal to the space I need helped. Line length equal to the space. Right, for moving it around, yep. Paste for small users, awkward. The small sizes, either 50 grams in a tub, 50 grams in syringe. Yeah, it is awkward. And getting it out of a syringe and back into a syringe is very hard and very wasteful. But it's also, depending on what you buy, can be, quite cheap on a syringe. So yeah, you can try to squeeze from one into the other, but if you need to mix it, if you need to get it out to mix it, like flux into something, that's the problem. That's much harder to do. Okay, switch 4. So if I rename the switch, I can then just delete the old one and they'll reconnect in the schematic. Iggy, hello! Probably get hit by a car listening and watching while walking back to the expo. How was the rest of your day yesterday? I didn't see you again. Did you, you were sitting at the show all day? At the conference bit? So I was going to leave the conference early yesterday and then ended up being there till 6:15. It was quite funny. I'll rearrange all that stuff in a moment. Just going to get all these in. The other thing I want to do is see how close I can get it to the edge. I could probably get these a bit closer to the edge. I might go back to the other ones and get them closer to the edge. Yeah, don't get hit walking, listening. Don't do that. Okay. Sorry, in and out, in and out. I know, I'm sorry, I apologise if that's jarring for everyone. Okay, another one over here. Wait, didn't I just move that one? So why is that one not moved? Click, duplicate, push up. There we go. That's weird. Hey, Monster Mark. Hey, Franco. Argentina, nice. Even the cars try to kill you. Yeah, those cars. It's the cars driven by spiders and snakes. They're the worst because spiders and snakes just have got no road sense at all. So you definitely don't want them behind the wheel. Just saying. Okay, that's not going to work. Yeah, quite a bit of rearranging. Switch 3. Okay. And the drop bears. And the sky hooks. Sky hooks are a pain. Now what happened then? These buttons are the different height. The original buttons. Or did that just shift when I rotated it? Oh, look at that. So on my current board, this button's sitting, the old button's sitting too high. That's interesting. Okay. Well, now I get to fix that. Now these are grouped. Ungroup. Okay, switch 5. So what did you think of the show, Iggy? I found it a little bit underwhelming. Seems to shrink every year. But, you know, what you're going to do. But I did ended up going next door to the main manufacturing one. And oh boy, it was like a... it was insane. It was amazing. Hey Beata, how you doing? Who else have I missed? Did I say hi to Mad Tiki? I think I did. Anyone else I've forgotten? Oh, Mark's talking about nipple cripples. Oh, they hurt. Let me just check the height. Wait, that was 1305, wasn't it? 13.
Cian, chat has disconnected.
Chat has disconnected. Thank you very much for telling me that. Okay. So that's going to take a lot of fixing, and as I said, I'm going to get rid of the yeah, I haven't cleaned the schematic up yet on this. I'm going to have to. Where's my battery connector? Nope. 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 Here we go. Coin cell battery. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not going to have it on there. It also means I have a problem selling them in Australia if I do that. Yeah, 2DS was working before. I had the volume down when you first chatted. I believe I need to now. I'm going to have to pull up VBAC.
Geek says look out. Drop bear behind you.
What? Oh.
Matachi says I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Okay, so this battery backup has gone. Yay. Which means I can also get rid of this. Wow. Because it was a really long trace. All for this battery backup. It's on the wrong side of the board. Okay, I'm going to leave that actually there, and I'm going to put that back just for now, because I'm going to have to still stick a cap on there, on it, but the cap's going to have to shift. So that there is going to have to, that's for the battery backup. I'm just going to leave it out here for now. I have to fix that. So Australia has a new rule now that anyone that sells anything that has a coin cell on it included, or that can have a coin cell put into it. So even if it's just the coin cell holder without the battery, you have to, the amount of legal stuff you need to do and consumer protection stuff you need to do on your, like the selling platform is just insane, because of I think a child swallowed a battery, or a child stuck a battery in their ear or something. So I'm not saying safety is not important at all. I'm absolutely not saying that. But we have this thing in Australia, which is maybe a bit like Europe. Maybe, I don't know, where sometimes where like something will happen, right? There'll be like one case or two cases of something happening, right? If you think about the population in Australia, right? I mean, there are more kids that stick Lego up their nose and in their ear and up their bum than kids do for batteries, right? But you'll have a case where a child will swallow a battery or something, and a politician will get onto it, and they'll do their whole campaign about blah blah blah, protection for kids, blah blah blah, safety for our kids, whatever else, and make a big hoo-ha, and then all of a sudden, right, to win votes or whatever else, all this legislation happens and whatever. So I'll give you an example of, hang on. So if I go to Core Electronics, I'm just going to switch over to, already there. So Core Electronics, they're an Australian company, they're in Sydney, right? And they make their own stuff as well as other things. I'm trying to think, what has a coin cell on it that they sell? I can just do a search for this. Yeah, no, it's not enough. I'm trying to think. I mean, it'll be any product that gets sold. Any product. See all this? Look at this. Restrictions may apply to equipment as it uses a button coin cell battery, right? You got to basically inform the user of all this stuff, and then not just here, but at the checkout part. If I add this to my cart and then go to checkout, I have to actually then present, they present this thing that the user has to actually agree and click on something to acknowledge the acceptance that they've read all this. And firstly, I can't do any of this type of stuff with Squarespace, like my platform that I work on, and it would mean that I couldn't sell stuff on Tindy, and I couldn't. It was strict where I can sell them. It's really full on. See, a declaration of use will need to be submitted during checkout. You got to provide information about how you're going to use the item, and you need to agree that you're going to keep it away from children, and it's full on. People don't read, and no, you're right, it doesn't really solve anything, but this is the level that our politicians make things go through. And Graham is like the guy that owns Core Electronics, Graham Mitchell. He's a really nice guy. Like he absolutely, he would gladly do stuff like this, and he'd go over the top to make sure that he's both protecting himself and doing everything he needs to do above and beyond to make sure he's fully legal and everything else, right? But the amount of effort they had to do for this, and they've changed some of their products now and removed coin cells from them and whatever else. So even if it doesn't ship with a battery, the fact that it can have a battery, you still have to do it, right? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Who knows who it protects, right? It definitely doesn't stop kids from swallowing stuff, right? I mean, if you think about it, look at the size of this board and look at the size of a coin cell. If the kid can swallow a coin cell, the kid can swallow the board. The board's not much bigger than a coin cell. Anyway, it's just whatever. So I'm taking the coin cell off. I also don't think it's needed. Having a battery backup for the RTC on this board Like if someone's using this as a clock, it's going to be powered. And even if it's not powered, you know, all you need to do is just plug a LiPo battery in it, and that keeps the RTC awake anyway. Like I just, yeah. Oh no, bye-bye DSL. So I just don't think it's needed. I'm taking it off. Also, it's not a standard battery coin cell size. It's because the board's too narrow. So I can't remember what the coin cell number is though. That's annoying. What the actual battery size is. It's a very small battery that goes in here, and they're not batteries you can just go to the supermarket and buy. Like they're a bit harder to get. No, I'm not. Super caps are massive. I'm not putting a super cap on. No. Like a super cap's useless for beyond, you know, a couple of hours. Like it's really big. So I'm just going to leave it off. I just don't think it's needed. It's an awkward battery size. It's going to be a very vague use case for a very small number of people, if at all. So, and I can't pick and place them because they come loose in a bag. So I'm going to have to hand place them on every board before I reflow them, which just means more work, costs go up. Yeah. Am I keeping the footprint? No. I guess I could... Well, sure, all batteries have ingredients that are harmful for human consumption, you know. But sticking a piece of Lego in your ear or up your nose can also be harmful when they take it out and it rips all the lining of your skin. What about a JST for a common laptop connector often used for... Wait, a JST for a common laptop connector often used for CRT battery. I've never seen CRT batteries that do into connector. No, it's not a 1220. Hang on. I'm sure I've got it on... I have to be on my... Oh, I don't know if my RTC boards are still on there. Hold on one moment. Oop. I might have it listed on my RTC, my old RTC Shield. Hey Peter, how you doing? One moment please. Hey Alex. Wait, what day? Yeah, it's an unexpected stream because I was out yesterday and I was going to be out again today, but I decided not to go out again today. That was confusing. So I thought I'd stream. Where is it? Dun, dun. Right, yeah, it's not public anymore. If I go to edit, I might list on here what it is. It's a CR1025 battery. CR1025, which is a really odd battery. It's a 3-volt battery. You can get more common ones that are that size that fit in there, but they're not 3 volts. They're like 1.2 or whatever. So what will you put on the board in the new open space? Well, I've actually started working on some demo code for the Bling board. I've got some really cool clock stuff happening, and I want to make a digital radio, you know, display with tells you the track name and whatever else, and off the internet streaming audio and stuff. What's 10mm by 1? Oh right, okay, yeah, it's a little battery. So let's minimize that. I don't know. I mean, I could leave the pads on there, I guess. Should I just leave the pads on there and not populate the holder? It's really hard. You won't be able to get the... Oh, you could probably solder the holder on separately. You would have... I've got a mic on here already. There's already a mic on there. Tiny, easily swallowed. Yeah, really tiny battery. And I wouldn't want to ship the connectors... I could ship the battery holder separately if someone wants to solder them on. But I don't know. I just don't think it's necessary. Like, yeah, I don't know. Let me fix the batteries. Let me fix the buttons first. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Oh, really? What just happened? Right. My dialogue was on the wrong side. Okay, so switch. So they're the wrong way around. So which one's this one? Number 6 has to be flipped. X. Okay. Leave the pads. Right, but the pads are only useful for that particular coin cell holder, which are really hard to get. Like, they're not a common thing that you can buy. So what are they going to solder to it? Like, letting them decide what if I leave the pads. Yeah, I know you can solder them on separately, but I think it's odd. Why would I ship a board with the holder separate? And not soldered on for functionality that's going to be used by, like, maybe no one. Laptop RTC battery, and you'll see what I mean. They always use that connector and polarity. RTC laptop battery. Right, okay. Are they 3-volt batteries? Yep, okay. That's the logo board. There's a better... What? Talking about batteries and RTC. On your RTC logo board, there's a better connector. Oh, you're talking about the JST. Right, that's for a normal LiPo battery. That's a JST PH connector. That's for a... for one of these batteries. So that's... I do that so... Hang on, here's the board. That's what we're talking about. I do that so that way, like, otherwise you'd have to either solder that. I ship that with the board, like a tiny S3, the pads on the bottom, that you can solder on yourself. But this way you don't have to, right? That battery just goes into the board for normal battery. Hey, helmet, maybe solder pads to wire an external 3-vat. Sure, but why would, again, I'm questioning, is anyone really ever going to use it anyway? The board can handle... Yeah, that's, well, yes. Because it goes through a regulator. So, yeah. The whole battery, like the same as, like, all my boards can be battery powered. Like, having the pads there and try to explain to people what they're for and what they can connect to it and stuff just seems like a lot of customer support work for something that is a feature that I just don't think anyone is going to use. Like, I'd be very surprised if anyone actually used it, because I just, yeah. Really? What happened there? There we go. Oh, KiCAD. What is with this? Silly 3 volts, 0.3. Okay. Avoid feature creep at all costs. JT is to power the tiny Pico and use the LDO on that to drop it down. Yes. Correct. That connector's not for the RTC chip. It's to power the whole thing. Correct. Yeah, there is no battery backup for the RTC on that board on purpose, because again, it's pointless. What do you need battery backup for the RTC for a logger shield? Like, it can't do anything. Like, when you wake up the board, if you want to log it, then like, you're not shutting power down to this board. You might sleep the ESP32, right? If you're not logging all the time, but there's still power going to the chip, and the chip then keeps its time, so it doesn't need a battery backup, right? As long as there's a battery connected to the board, the RTC is keeping its time. So it made no sense putting battery backup on the RTC logger. Yeah, this board's got an ESP32S3 on it. Yes. Okay, one. They're kind of, yeah, I have to do that one. Is that 5? Yep. 5, let's flip that. I mean, you got, yeah, the board's Wi-Fi. It's got Wi-Fi on it for getting the time, and you know, if you're using it actually as a clock, you know, the only thing a battery backup for the RTC gives you is if you unplug the clock power and you don't have a battery in it, and then you want to plug it back in again and have it keep the time, right? But if you're using Wi-Fi, then it just can go back to NTPT server and get the time again. Like, again, for the odd use case for that, it just doesn't make sense to me to put it on there and then have to have all the issues I'm going to have with having a coin cell on there. So, yeah, sorry folks. For those of you that really, really, really think you want your battery backup RTC, sorry. You know, there's a million other features on this board that are way better than a battery backup part of the RTC. You know, digital audio in, digital audio out. I should swap that one. What is that? Number 3. X. Yeah. Okay. So 3 volts. Yeah, it's I really think it's a non. Yeah. I can't remember why I originally put it on. I think I just put it on originally because I could, but I just, yeah. Yeah, nah. No, I've done that. Really? Okay, I'll clean that up after. Made a sketch that is NTP to set the RTC, and the RTC runs on its own. Well, that's right. That's all you need to do. You just need to, if you're connecting to the internet anyway, you grab the time, set the RTC, and then that's what it does. It just sits there and does its own thing. There's no need for it to. The battery backup's only for if it's ever powered down or loses. You know, you don't want it to lose the time. But, you know, even if you are using this as a clock, still, I just don't think it's. No, I'm not going to be able to fit that in. What the? Oh, forgot that's in there. Hello, Sean. Hey, mate, how are you? But if you wanted to use this as something daily and shut it down, but then keep the date and time to keep logging when you switch it back on, and you're not always near Wi-Fi. Okay, but when you say shut it down, like you can sleep the ESP32 and you've got the ability to turn off power to the whole RGB matrix, right? So that's got a separate power control. So you're not losing any power from that, and you're going to sleep the device. If you had a battery plugged in, like, could you not just stick a battery? Like, it's got a JST connector on the back, right? So, and you could sleep the device, and the battery will last for ages. You know, depending on the size of the battery, you could get like days and days out of the battery, and that'll keep the RTC going, right? The ESP32 itself is drawing, you know, minimal power, you know, in the you know, maybe 30 microamps, and nothing else on the board really is I mean, there's other things on the board that's going to be powered, but it's going to be really low power, and the whole display's off. So I get it. I mean, yeah, I guess I could just leave pads. I just wouldn't leave the coin cell pads. I think leaving the coin cell pad is like, I'd rather just, or maybe I'll look at putting a work out what those connectors are for the laptop battery things, and I can stick one of those on there, I guess. It's just another thing to place. It's another part to source. It's another unique part, depending on what it is. So, you know, there's either a high cost involved unless I'm buying them in bulk, and a one-off part in bulk. Yeah, I don't know. It's another feeder position on the pick and place machine. I mean, these are the thought process I have when I'm designing something, right? Yeah, Sean is the man. He's yeah, big fan. Sean was the reason I think designed my first PCB. He yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember which one of yours that you had done. Wait, do I need to flip that? Oh, I need to flip this one as well. I can't remember, was it your, I think it was your little robot thing that you made with those little motors that drove around on your floor. I think it was. Or maybe it was one of your projects before that, when, like, you know, that inspired me to design my first PCB. So it's Sean's fault. I'm here doing this now because of Sean. Blame him. Blame him. Okay, 4X. So everything, pick a standard connector and put pads for such. Let the user through. Right, well then it would have to be either a JST or a Pico blade connector, right? I can put a Pico blade connector, but what are you going to plug into it? And if I put a standard JST connector, well, it's massive. I can do it, but just for a battery backup. It's the wrong type of, I guess, well, sure, it wouldn't be a coin cell. You could plug a LiPo in, but it's not as easy as a coin cell. But if I just leave pads there, I could do that. I could. Man, I'm easily distracted today. You'll accept the blame for it? Okay. Good. I'm glad someone can accept the blame so I don't have to. I surely can't blame myself, right? You see that? I'm trying to grab the end of it and move it. Okay, that time I got it. Ah, KiCAD does some weird things. I'm trying to keep my traces away from the silk screen because JLC have this issue where they just can't print properly. Silk screen, when there are traces there. Like, that's, sometimes you just see a bump and sometimes it just completely smudges the whole silk screen. Okay, so I'm going to have problems again with these, with my fiducials. I can't remember what I did. Was it 96.1? I think I did. I'll have to go back and check them and make sure they're the same. Because I only want to lay out the LED side of this on my different boards once. That might be in the way. Actually, that can't go there anyway because the 3 volts doesn't go there. That's annoying. Hey Kim. Yes, by which we mean thank you. Well, I thank you. I totally regret my life choices sometimes. I gotta say, Sometimes I think I'm an absolutely flippin' idiot for what I'm doing. But still, yes, thank you. Much appreciated. Okay. And I need to move the other ones. To, I don't know where, somewhere with an even number. I try to keep at least to 1 decimal point with my fiducials. Just makes them easier, at least on the Neo thingo. Yeah, I'm not even, yeah. I got some exciting pick and place news. I'm just, and some of you have guessed it or spoken about it, but I'm still not going to officially say anything until it happens. But it's happening. It is happening, much to my actual shock and horror. Okay, so will this pass? No, it won't pass DRC because I've got this battery. I have what might be a noob question here. When you design PCBs, do you have pre-designed chunks such as... No, I don't just grab a whole chunk and place it down on another board. Although sometimes if I'm doing, if it's a derivative of, like, so with this bling board, I designed this one first, right? And then when I made the one, my tiny bling, which just has the connectors and stuff and some components on the back, I duplicated that board and then ripped out all the stuff I didn't need, right? Because I didn't want to have to lay out the LEDs again. But no, it's not a YY1. It's a little bit different. Did you get a YY1, Sean? When's the news happening? Well, I got some really good news yesterday. So what happened was the machine was delayed through a really silly thing. I'm not going to tell you what it was. It's been rectified. The machine was delayed like 7 weeks, which was massive because it was supposed to be an 8-week delivery. So that was a double the time to get the machine, which threw me in a spin because it held up a lot of my stuff. But that's been partly rectified. I found out yesterday that they've shaved off 3 of those 7 weeks, which means I will have the machine end of this month or maybe the first week of June. You say it best when you say nothing at all. Well, some people know, and some people spilt it here on my streams when they weren't supposed to. I'm not pointing any fingers, whatever. I know people are excited about it. I'm also excited, but I'm also it's insane what I've done. Bit of a headache, maybe, that they've made improvements since V1. No, they haven't. They have updated the firmware. But you can't update your firmware. They've got to send you a new controller board, and they'll only send you one if you've got a problem with the machine and something's not working. The never-ending P&P story continue. Well, I thought that this one will be the end of all my dramas, and it turns out getting it was a drama. New board and screen to update. Okay, yeah. Look, Neoden make some really weird choices with their products. The YY1 could have been an industry. What's the word? When you mix up, disruption. It could have been an industry disruptor for the desktop pick and place market. Like, it could have literally wiped everyone out, and they made some bad decisions there. They really did. Like, they should have consulted with people that are not their normal Asian-based customer base. Like, this is not a machine for Asia, it's a machine for the Western world, and they didn't consult with anyone about its usability, about some design quirks, and some really stupid decisions on it, right? I'm really pressing for them to open source it and let the disruption happen. Yeah, they won't. They won't. Good luck. Go for it. They won't. I don't think they will. They wouldn't even give me replacement parts for my Neoden 8 or give me the documentation I needed to fix it, because they hold on to their IP like it's worth something. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to be a consultant for them. But there are so many people out there that could have helped them really make it a good machine. Some really basic fundamental things that they could have changed, and it's just frustrating that they don't seem to learn. I gotta say, like they're a company that had massive potential. They really do, and they drop the ball continually because they just too closed. Yeah, and it's frustrating. And it's frustrating for me because I really, really, really wanted them to be a winner. Like when I got my Neoden machine, like the 8, I really wanted them to be a company that I could work with indefinitely. You know, like I've now moved away from the whole concept of Chinese pick and place machines. I'd have bought something totally different now. But I wish I could have stayed in a healthy and vibrant Neoden ecosystem with their new machines. But yeah, it does work though. Like the YY does work, and you can use it. And look, it's no different than fighting a little Charmhigh desktop pick and place machine. There's just way more people using them. And you know, Charmhigh also don't open source them, but people have reverse engineered much of them already, and you can put open PNP on them and stuff like that. You know, if Neoden would allow people to put open PNP on it somehow, that would be great. But I don't think it's going to happen either. So I don't know, but well, but you shouldn't stop yourself from doing that. But maybe get some other people to work with you on it, so it's not all on you, and then see if you can come up with a control board that can talk to OpenPNP or something. That would solve everyone's problems with it, right? Hey Andrew, the Lumen PNP's it's great if you're interested in a project, like if you want to, you know, whether you build it partly pre-assembled or whatever. It's a machine that you will spend 50% of your time using it to build stuff, and you'll spend 50% of your time maintaining it and keeping it tuned and tweaking it, right? That's what it is. It's like, you know, you buy an Ender 3 and you have to, you know, or, you know, like a RepRap type 3D printer, knowing that you'll spend time having to keep it running properly, right? And keep it optimized. Or you buy a 3D printer that doesn't need that. So you just got to know what you're getting in for with the Lumen. That's all. Just to not encourage Neoden because the price doesn't justify having to remake control boards. Sure. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Actually, I never saw one in the flesh until yesterday, and I actually thought that the pictures of it online, the marketing pictures, made it look much nicer than it actually looked like in real life. I got to say, it definitely looked, I don't know. Again, someone with a bit of industrial design experience on the project could have made it look, you know, very little manufacturing cost change could have actually made it look much nicer as well as maybe operating better. The Lumen, no, it supports any size feeder, but they only have 8mm feeders that they're selling right now. There are people who've designed their own feeders that can be any size. The Lumen can do any size tape, but they currently, of their own product, only have 8mm feeders right now. You should try and sleep, but if you can't, you're welcome to stay here. Okay. Well, I know that that's going to fail, but I want to just check. I'll do TLC on everything else. And I still have to decide if I'm going to get rid of the Wago. Okay, 2 and 2. So I know that one there. Wait, no. Oh, okay, that's just a...
Geek says good night, lovely people.
Good night, Quixotic Geek. Have a good sleep. Thanks for joining. Nice to see you. No, my current feeders do not fit my new machine, and my current feeders, I would not use in my new machine. No. I have gone... You got to remember the CL feeders on my machine right now, they are an ancient technology. Even the electric ones I've got, it's still an ancient technology. Out of all the advancements that have happened with feeder technology, I'm not talking about in the Chinese market, because I'm talking about in the real commercial market. Right? the performance and speed and accuracy and functionality of these feeders, the current good feeders, make these things look like they were built in the Flintstones age, right? Why would I want to? No. That said, the cost of my feeders on this new machine have now gone up by an order of magnitude, which sucks. Sucks, yes. Okay, so I passed DRC except for this cap that's sitting out here. I'm going to have to... I'm pretty sure I have to terminate the battery backup, and I can't remember what I need to do. Just bear with me a second. I need to pull up my RTC. I don't want to pull up the data sheet. That's going to be annoying. But I can go to my logger shield, go to my schematic, and then I will know from there what I need to do. Right, so I need to pull it to ground. So pulling the V back up to ground tells the RTC that there is no backup, which is what I need to do. It needs to know there's no backup. So I need to change this. So that cap will go. If I click on it, it'll select it in the schematic. Yay! So I get rid of that, and I need to stick a pull down. So Sean, if you're still around, what made you buy a YY1 out of curiosity? Like, I know Paul's, you know, he's got one, he's manufacturing his boards and stuff with it. I'm curious to hear why people have bought the YY1, and, like, you know, people who haven't had pick and place machines, what it was about the machine that made them jump to buy one. I'm just curious. Is this... No, this is KiCAD, which is a free EDA tool. And it's... I used to use Eagle, which is not free. And back when KiCAD was a very hard tool to use. So, oops. But they've really refined it, and it's, yeah, coming leaps and bounds now. So this is KiCAD. It's free. Mac, PC, some Linux flavors, and it's really good. It's really good. Altium is super expensive, like beyond the reach of most people. It's just not, unless you're learning CAD to go get a job in the industry. You know, like Australia, like most of Australia, the industry uses Altium because the company used to be an Australian company, whatever they were called before Altium. But you know, but unless you're learning CAD to get a job somewhere that uses a particular tool, don't learn Altium. Like, KiCAD is great, and highly recommended. Okay, so okay, I have to pull that in. I'm gonna have to find a place to stick it. It might be difficult. Turn those off. That gets deleted. And where am I going to put this? I can't, there's nowhere in here to stick it. I can put that all the way back out here again. There's no place to take it. Look at it. I mean, I'm full. Yeah, Eagle to KiCAD for me was a real struggle back when KiCAD was on like version 4. But it's, you know, version 5 was a game changer, and then it's just been getting better and better since then. I can't get that around. So the issue here is that, like, I've got no place to route stuff. Oh, okay, catch you later, Dale. Take care. I had pretty good communications with them. Looked interesting, and just needed one quick to get some boards done since I was tired of hand soldering. Sure. Yeah, you've done a lot of hand assembly. I still love watching your videos of when you're doing hand assembly. I still enjoy hand assembly, like I'm prototyping, but obviously not doing lots of repetitive boards. Yeah, it's a good size footprint, and all in one. You don't need a separate PC for it and everything else. But yeah, like I had a lot of high. I've got no invested interest in really in need anymore. I mean, I've got an oven of theirs that's going to stay on my line, which I'm pretty happy with. But other than that, like, you know, and the Huawei one doesn't fit anything that I need. But I did have hopes that they would have got that one right. Like, I really wanted them to. It just didn't happen. I don't know where I can put this. I really don't know. Like, I've got all these odd traces and vias everywhere. It's because I got to fit them inside the LED array. It's just, this was really hard to route, this board, and I've had to do some nasty things here. You can see, like, I've got signal traces on my power lines. I don't have a choice. There's just because I physically cannot use the bottom layer, the back, for any routing of signal, right? And I have to have a continuous ground plane. I can't not have a continuous ground plane, right? So I mean, I've done some nasty power on the outside edges, but I can't do anything in the middle. So I've had to do, like, really, I'm not proud of it, but I wasn't going to go 6 layers. It would have been a really expensive board. Maybe I'm going to have to, no, I don't want to put signal again here. I just need to stick this one resistor. Where can I put it that I can get to? So that trace was going all the way to the other side of the board, all the way down here. Like, I can't even get the resistor here because I've got all these traces. Move the 2 data tracks to the right. What? The 2 data tracks. What data tracks? The D plus, it doesn't matter. I can't get the signal out here. Yeah, I can't get the signal out. Doesn't matter. It's not going to help me. Why is that? Yeah, I can't get it out. I can't get that out around to here. So, and even if I can get it out, I've got no place for a via. That, like, I can't kill my ground plane. And these are going, I can't really move them out. They're going into TVS's. Right? So, like, if I can make them bow out here and come back in again, like, you really don't want to mess with the USB. Like, I haven't got them length matched, but they're pretty damn close. Like, I really don't want to muck around with that. Yeah. I'm gonna have to, I don't want to do it on the power line because I've got, hang on to show you this, I've got this 3 volts here. Like, this section up here is to get 3 volts all the way down. So this inside section is the entire power plane for the LED array. This is a separate power plane that's user controlled on and off. So this is the only way I'm getting 3 volts across the board, which I need to bring around and bring in. And so I don't want to eat into that any more than what I've got, but I might have to. But I need to get it that way. Like, this honestly took me days to route. Catch you later, Andy Mouse. Have a good sleep. Like, this was such a pain to route. I wonder if I could squeeze it in here. That's going to be... I don't think I can squeeze it in there. Let's see if I make it an 0201. Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to be able to. Let's see if I squeeze these over. I'm going to regret this. Total regrets. I this is such a bad idea. Who suggested doing this? Oh my god. Maybe. Oh. Oh, that is nasty. Oh no! I hate when KiCAD does that. I knock my mouse before I hit enter. I knocked it with my finger. Okay. Maybe that'll work. I'm not worried about the keep out areas, like the courtyards. But it's got to be hand assemblable and it's got to be reworkable, right? Like it's just, that's fine. Okay, so that fits. I think we should pass DRC now. I know I can overlap them. So I try to be kind to future Xeon. It's actually interesting. So teardown's coming up, Crowd Supply's teardown, and I actually wanted to give a talk there. I wanted to give a talk years ago, but then COVID time, and I couldn't go, right? It was the year that COVID hit. I really want to give a talk titled, Everyone Should Manufacture Their Own Boards, like their own products, their own designs. Because I think everyone should, not as a business, but so many times you hear people say things like, oh, that's a problem for the CM, or that's a problem for my manufacturer, right? Or that's a problem for someone else. Like, whatever, I'm going to do whatever I do now, and that's a problem for someone else. And it's something that happens a lot in the electronic space, and it's really bad. And some of the biggest lessons I've learnt in all of the stuff I'm doing is to think about future me and what headaches I'm giving myself by doing the things that I do. And so one of them is, honestly, is packing parts in really tight together. Like, I can hand place parts almost touching, no problem, right? If it passes DRC, great, right? They can even be pick and placed and reflow properly, right? The issue comes if I have to rework something. If I can't get my tweezers around the part to get it on or off, or I knock things in the process or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's just stupid. Like, just because I can get something really, really close and I have a steady enough hand to assemble it, doesn't mean it's a good idea. At some point in the future, it's going to bite me in the ass, and I know it will. And so, like, I know that I can get stuff closer than these courtyards. I actually turn off courtyards, right, on a lot of my stuff, because I'm sick and tired of the errors you get from them, the amount of space they put around it. Like, I know how big this RTC is. Like, it's that white spot there, right? That is actually, I know how much room there is there to get tweezers in. Okay, you got to remember that's massive on the screen, although you might be looking at a small screen. But there comes a point where to squeeze something in, you potentially cause heartache for yourself in the future. And that's why I think everyone should manufacture. Everyone should go through the process of having to deal with the bad decisions that, and it could be you, it could be someone else, the designer makes in their effort to squeeze things things in or to fit a certain spec or whatever else. Like another really good example is just really bad thermal pockets where parts of your board just wick all the heat away, and you just don't think it. And you think that's a problem for the CM. They'll work out, they'll tune their line, their reflow line, to be able to assemble this thing. And why cause headaches for your CM? Like, you know what I mean? Like there are just easy things that you can do, design things you can do, or things that you can change to fix stuff like that. You know, like USB connectors wick a heap of heat. Like you just don't realize how much the metal on a USB connector wicks the heat away, and often parts that are around the USB just don't reflow properly. I also like somewhat aesthetic design. If stuff lines up, it looks so much nicer. Absolutely, and I love aesthetic stuff, and so like this is triggering me right now. I gotta say, I'll probably end up tweaking this a bit. Like I had these 3 components lined up like a V, and I didn't mind that, and then the fact that I had to kick off one sideways. Like I'm space constrained here, right? But I tried lining everything up here, but I actually don't like now that this might be in line with these pads, but it's not. It's offset to this, and it's, you know what I mean. And then this has now been offset. I really don't like that. I'm frustrated by it now. I'm gonna have to fix some of this, but that's okay. Like at the end of the day, if it's not going to give me a manufacturing headache, fine, I can tweak it a bit more. But if it's going to give me a manufacturing headache,
sorry.
No, you're right. I wasn't going to comment. I was going to fix it afterwards. Like I don't like how I shoved that in here. I don't like how that trace is squeezed through the middle, especially with JLC manufacturing. I don't. I know that they can do it, but I also know that it's just bad news, right? Like that's just right on the edge of their tolerance. So that outline here, that's like to their spec of what they say they can do reliably, and that's right on the edge. Well, resistors being the same way around in this case doesn't matter because there's no markings on these. They're all 0402 caps resistors. You can't tell what orientation in terms of a marking, but it'd be nice if they were all vertical or horizontal. It just can't happen because I'm limited with where, you know, like having to do stuff like this, right? This 3-volt line to get all the way over here. Like normally you'd stick a wire there, right? But I can't. I've got no place to stick a wire anywhere here. Right? I'm lucky that this one here, that's for the ground on this layer, right? I can't just stick wires anywhere. And every time I do something like that, that's fine there, but I then have to, like I can't stick ground wires anywhere here, which sucks because I've got pads on the other side. But you can see here, like all the wires, wherever I've got them where I can't put them here because I've got power along there. I've got them in here for both, you know, ground and for, if I do this, like I've got as many power ones as I can get in, right, to get as much power distributed across. Oh, this was a nightmare. And then having to fix it and change it and move them and fix them and change it and fix it and change it. And then I kept adding more parts on the back, like more things. Like, oh, let's put a I2S mic on, yeah? And then having to get these traces out, you know, like for my mic data, you know. I mean, that's nasty, right? Having to use the power plane to do that. You know, like even just the reset line, like that's just, and like you go, oh, why are you doing that? Just put that wire down here. I can't because there's an LED there. You know, like, oh, it was really, like I came up with the idea of doing this board even before the one by one LEDs. I was going to do a 1515 array. I actually designed one, just the array, like a year and a half ago. I couldn't get all the stuff on the back. I think I did this when I was at home and I was sick. I had the flu. It wasn't COVID, whatever. It was like whenever I designed this, and I was miserable, and I was at home. I didn't want to lie down in bed, and I was sitting on my computer. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a shot. And like, it took me 3 days to get it all in. with a lot of feature creep. So I'm pretty happy, and I want to, as I said, the boards get warm. They get quite warm. Anyway, so that's in. I'll deal with this later. Like, I don't know what else I can do right now. I can't even move this via because there's the LED's in the way. Maybe I can move it a little. It doesn't really matter because it's that trace that I'm worried about. I could make them thinner. These are, what are they, I can make them 1.27. Maybe I'll do that. It's just the I2C bus. Anyway, that passes DRC, so I think we're okay for now. It's got the new buttons on, which I feel much better about. It does pass DRC, yeah it does, okay good. So my plan is I want to order these today. I need to panelize them and order them. I've got a bit of empty space on the side here now though. I don't really want to move the SD card over because again, that's a VIA issue. Like getting it lined up. Oh, what happened to my logo? Must have moved that by accident. Whatever. I've got a bit of empty space there now, but I've got to update this. P2 is at 511. Ooh. Something's at the front. Okay. I still have to solve the speaker, the Wago. But yeah, I don't really want to make another prototype version of this because it's just a pain to build because of the LEDs on the back. I'd like to just panelize it, but I can't build these on the Neoden, so these have to wait for my new pick and place machine. The Neoden's got no support underneath the conveyor, so doing double-sided on a panel like this where they're long boards and there's not a lot of things holding the panel together, there's too much flex. I need to wait for my new machine. Okay, so that's those two, and the other board doesn't need anything because there's no buttons on it. They're just LEDs on the board. Cool. I've been meaning to do this for a while. So if I get these in today, and if I get my updated Reflow Master prototype in with the correct connector pin out, yeah, that'd be cool. Oh, I got my parts for my FPGA board. FPGAs. I've not even opened them. Only got 10.
Cian, chat but has disconnected.
Chat disconnected again. My boards actually have shipped. So I have Nano S3 panels coming, and I have the first revision of my Blizzard S3 on the way to me. They got picked up yesterday, DHL Express. So I'll probably have them Monday, I guess, hopefully. I have all the parts I need here to build one. Am I going to assemble one on a stream? I don't know. The problem's going to be, even if I assemble one, I still don't have the USB side solved yet. I don't know if Michael, you in the chat, Michael? Still? Michael's been working on it. I'm sure I could work out a way of just brute forcing a bit stream onto the FPGA side. Or I could use Faulknology's like CircuitPython code. So I could build a version of CircuitPython that I could put on the board to be able to do that, I guess. But I need these built. I need to get one to Michael and me have one that we can validate the board and then work on that whole UF2 flashing the FPGA stuff. But anyway, I have everything I need here. I've got 33 ohm 0201 resistors. Woo. I've actually got a whole lot of 0201 components here, by the way. Just my neodyne can't place them properly. And I never really wanted to put myself through the heartache of doing that on that machine. My new machine can do 01, 005. So, and no, I'm not doing that. So that's ready to go. Once I get my boards, that'll be exciting. So whether I assemble on stream or whether I just assemble them, make sure they work, and then play with it on stream, I don't know. Yeah, I've done 0201 by hand. It's not too bad. I've not done 01, 005 anything. I do have some 01, 005 components here that I ordered by accident. They're tiny. I could probably do them with tweezers. Not my current tweezers. No, they're not. You need a really good pair of high precision tweezers to do 01, 005. Yeah, you actually sneeze and they go everywhere. Don't go below 005 to prevent it. I've never needed to. Well, I've needed to go, but I haven't. Like, there's no, the FPGA board, I had to go to 0201 for the, excuse me, for the match pairs going out to the PMOD connector. And then with my new machine, I'll be able to comfortably do 0201 whenever I want to. And there's a few things that could definitely benefit from that. Like my Nano S3 board would have been very helpful to, have 2/3 of those parts be 0201. The problem is I'm chewing up feeder positions on 0201 components, which means I'm not standardizing as much. And standardizing is also important to reduce the number of uniques that you've got on the machine, to reduce swap overs between products and stuff. But 0402 has been fine for me, like in terms of there's nothing I haven't been able to design space-wise using 0402, but there is a different project that I started working on, which is actually going really well. My patrons know about it. That's not a plug for my patron, although it's a plug for my patron, if you want to know in advance. But there is something else that I've started working on, and my plan is for it to be an open source project, like a fully open source project. I've made the first design, the first revision. There's something else I want to add to it, and I might get boards made with this batch. And then if I do, I will, I can assemble one of those on a stream and I'll let everyone know what it is. The problem is the chip I'm using on it can't really be used by anyone yet, including myself. So it's going to be very hard to make this thing do something with no software support. That's a problem. Would a custom bootloader that loads the FPGA before the ESP boots up to it? That's exactly what we're working on. That was my idea. That's what I pitched. Well, I pitched it 3 or 4 streams ago, but hadn't worked out exactly how it would work back then. But then last week, I think I explained to everyone how it was going to work when I showed the Blizzard board. And Michael's already got a kind of a thing going. We just have to work out where in the partition scheme it's going to live. It's got to live on the partition, the ESP32's partition, right? But yeah, the idea is that you go into a UF2 bootloader, like you go into a mass storage, you copy the bin file on, which might flash the FPGA at the same time, maybe, but doesn't have to. And then once it's on there, whenever you boot the ESP32, if you're not going into into UF2 mode, it pushes the bit stream onto the FPGA as it boots up as part of the bootloader. Yeah, so that's all how it's going to happen. And it looks like it's going to work, which is good. But of course, we need a board to test it on. Yeah. Okay. I think it's been 2 hours, and I wasn't planning on streaming at all, so that's pretty good. I don't think there's anything else. No, I think that's all I've got for the moment. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit vague because this was all unplanned. Bit vague. Cool. Okay, well, next week stream could go many different ways. It'd be very cool to do Blizzard stuff, but I don't even know if the board's going to work. I know the S3 side's going to work, but I might have completely botched the FPGA side. I don't know. That would be a very short and disappointing stream if that's the case. But that's okay. I don't mind people seeing me botch stuff. You know, I often expect things to go bad the first time or second time, and with me sometimes the third time. But yeah, if my FPGA stuff isn't ready, then maybe what I will do, what I'd really like to do, is hook up some bigger speakers to this. Where are my other speakers? Like, hang on. Do I have them in the box? Not that box. Ah. Anyway, I want to hook up a big speaker to this, and I wouldn't mind getting some internet radio goodness happening on this. I think that'd be great. Bigger speakers for the text-to-speech, or not for the text-to-speech here, for the stream, but for, well, this can do text. It can't do text-to-speech. This could do text-to-speech actually. This, I could have this with MQTT. People could send this a message via my chat, and it could actually speak it through the speaker. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing maybe some hacking on one of these. That'd be good. But for now, I'm going to go get another coffee and get something to eat. With new stuff, Home Assistant, they can use EP32 as a remote mic for voice commands. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, you could do the same with this. I mean, you could put Home Assistant on this. It's just an ESP32. Is there S3 support? Anyway, before someone sends fart to that thing. What? Well, you have to say the word, but you can do that now, right? You go.
Unexpected Maker says.
What? Did it not say it, or did I? That's weird. What? I don't even know why I'm doing that. Oh, I did fat.
Intermit Tech says hello.
Right, I must get rid of it. Oh, right, I've got a profanity filter on. I forgot. I've got a profanity filter, and it gets rid of it. Yeah. It's yep, doesn't like it. There you go. Well, that's I would have thought that would have been okay, but anyway. I do MQTT. Don't do WebSockets. Not allowed to fart.
Intermit Tech says air from butt.
Air from butt.
Michael says genocide.
Hey. Well, that's not a good thing, but that's not a bad word. But okay, anyway, folks, I'm going. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sticking around, and yeah, catch you all next week. Hope you have a good week. Yeah, thanks for joining, Sean. It was really great to chat with you and have you here. Yeah. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye. I never know where the ending thing is. There it is. Bye.